What's going on, everybody? It is Hunter here from the Next Step Podcast, here with the one, the only, the Dusty Young. Give it up, everybody. What's up?
Hey, dude. How's it going?
Oh, not too much. I just wanted to make you feel good. I want to boost your confidence. I know you said you were a little foggy today. What's up with that?
I don't know, man. Just woke up a little foggy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just getting in the swing of things again, feeling overwhelmed a little bit maybe, but, workout helped. Hanging out with all my hybrid peeps, working out, feeling good. So it helped.
The biceps are looking good, by the way.
Thanks.
I was looking at you from across the room. I was like, ooh.
You know, if I would say you're full of shit, except Brandon actually said the same thing today. So I don't know if you guys are double teaming me, trying to make me feel better, or it's actually something's happening.
It's just a coincidence. I'm full of shit. But
Okay.
anyways, I like to lie to make people feel good. But anyways, all right. So Dusty, what are we talking about today?
You tell me, dude.
Okay. So here's what I'm thinking we talk about today. I mean, this is something that this is a struggle of mine. A struggle, I don't like to talk down to myself, right? I think we all have our own strengths and our own weaknesses. And, if we can play to our strengths as much as possible, but maybe at the same time develop and grow on some of those opportunities.
Say what?
Opportunities for growth. Then I think, you can really balance out your life. I think we've talked in a previous episode about how you were my balance, right?
Yeah.
You were like measured and you get shit done.
Yeah,
and finish shit.
Kind of like your work wife, right? Like you get that same thing from Melissa at home, but you get that here at work from me.
Yeah, except she makes me lunch and you don't share your food.
No, I don't share food.
You did buy me them Cinnamon Toast Crunch popcorns though. I give it a 6.5.
Yeah,
it was all right.
Yeah, solid 6.
But anyways, yeah. So I think we all have our strengths and our weaknesses in different parts of our life, right? And you can have people in your life who fill that need of where your weak points are, and it allows you to play to your strengths. But I still think it's important that you develop some of those weaknesses. And if you're an entrepreneur or, maybe just not an entrepreneur, but you see a lot of shiny objects in life, right? These opportunities, you get that fear of missing out. You get that FOMO. Okay. There's no lack of opportunity, I believe, here in America. And I believe if you surround yourself with the right people, there will always be opportunities. So sometimes saying no to an opportunity is saying yes, or it allows you to say yes to something else. I think that's the main principle that I'd like to talk through.
It's funny you say that. I cannot remember where I read it, but probably one of my stoicism journals that I read and subscribe to. But it was talking about saying yes all the time isn't always the greatest because you're not able, you're missing out on other opportunities, and sometimes saying no is actually providing a bigger opportunity somewhere else. So kind of cool. Let's dive in.
It's weird, yeah. It's like every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Interesting.
Yeah. And when you say no, you're saying yes to something else. So it's kind of weird. It's like backwards. And I'm trying to think of a specific example. I've got something going on right now that I probably shouldn't talk about right now. But an interesting, opportunity, and it's a great opportunity, and it's just like, man, could we take advantage of this? Could we do this opportunity? Like, yes, we could, but we've got so many things, or like there's a lot of focus going to other things right now. Like it could pull you away from those, and then you just do like a half job on everything in your life, right?
You mean like half-assing something?
Yeah, not purposely, but just like when you have limited resources, not just time, but energy and like fuel, because I believe those are two different things.
Yeah.
You can have free, like if you looked at my schedule, I probably, I've got extra time in my day, but emotional energy, and maybe I just need to, man up or whatever you want to call it. But but emotional energy and time are different.
Yes.
And so that I think it pertains to this podcast, right? Because when you're presented with those opportunities, that's a potential next step. That's a potential fork in the road. Dusty, have you ever experienced anything like this where you had to say no instead of yes? Or maybe you said yes when you should have said no. But my body.
I don't really know. I mean, I'm sure there has been, but I mean, I can't necessarily think of something right off the top of my head. You put me on the spot again. This is what you do.
It's really fun. It makes it easier on me.
Yeah, I know. Saying yes or no to something. Well, I don't really know.
Well, maybe I can think of a specific example in my life, but well, how about this? It's as basic as this, right? I was 21. I just turned 21. And then I started dating Melissa. And so I was saying yes to Melissa and commitment. And I was saying no to all the other young ladies out there.
I don't know if that's a very good example, but it gets the point across,
well,
right?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's kind of, it's not exactly what we're talking about. I mean, but that's on the relational end, of course.
Yeah.
But on the business end, you do have a limited amount of resources and time and energy. And, you might have a team that can help with that, but still, we just had a team meeting the other day, and part of, our meeting, we go through our issues, or our rocks. So these big projects that we're working on. And at the end of our meeting, one of our team members gave I think it was a 4 out of 10 on our meeting, right? On the feedback. And so if you rate lower than an 8, we ask that you give feedback on, hey, how could we make this better? And so the feedback was, well, I feel like these issues have been repeating here, but also, we're kind of discussing the same things. And we're like, well, why is that? And you brought up a good point today in our workout.
Yeah.
And what was that?
Just, I think we've got so much going on. We have so many projects that we want to tackle, but we're just spread too thin. So instead of like knocking one off, knocking 2 off, we're just doing a little bit of each, and they're just compiling, and it's just becoming overwhelming. And I think individually, some of us are stretched thin, with what we need to do. There are too many things, multiple businesses, multiple projects, and I think it's just kind of need to hit that low-hanging fruit in order to get things done efficiently.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like that feedback, right, it was good feedback. I mean, I didn't disagree. I agreed with it.
Oh, he was not wrong.
Yeah, he's certainly not wrong. And like if there's anything that I hate more too, it's meetings that drag on. And if you feel like you're getting hit with the same thing, you just want to like bash your head against the table. But I'm very much an overall like big picture thinker. Like that's typically how I think. And Dusty does the day-to-day thinking for me. Although I am working to improve on that opportunity of growth. But on a big picture, I actually feel like we're getting more done than we ever have.
Oh, hands down.
Like, we just have still a long way to go, but we're getting so much done now, so like part of me was like, I agree, but also like we're moving in the right direction. Like we're always getting better at that. And like, that's been our focus is efficiency. Mm-hmm. Right. So don't underestimate focus, right? There's going to be opportunities that pop up in your life, and sometimes the new opportunity is not necessarily the best one. Sometimes the best opportunity is the one that's sitting there right in front of you. And are you maximizing that? And the less things that you have to focus on, the more you can go all in. Just imagine if you only had a few things in life, and that just took over your thinking. That's all you had to do. Imagine how good of a job you do in it. But when you have 8 things, 9 things, 10 things, whatever it is, I feel like parents, they've got kids, and then they've got their job, and then they've got, they just got to take care of the house, and then they got family things going on, right? Like you've got all those different things going. It's very hard to then focus on yourself, right? That's what we see a lot at the gym. And when you sign up to be a parent, I think that's part of it, right? You got to expect that. But, if you're in business or in some other area where this may apply to you, how can you minimize the things you have to focus on? So for some people, it's easier. For people like myself, I see a squirrel. Oh, squirrel. That's what Dusty says all the time.
Yeah, you're the little hybrid golden retriever.
Yes.
So, and yet to kind of piggyback on what you were talking about there, I can't remember where I heard it, but instead of focusing on, while you said it's good to try and grow, on skills that you're not very good at, but at the same time, it's also, sometimes it's better to focus on the few things you're good at and be great at them, right? And then, and that's how I feel like a team works well. Not everybody that's part of a team is going to have the same skill sets. So you don't need to focus on what you're not good at. Focus on what you're good at and be great at it, and then you're going to be great as a team. So I feel like that kind of has a place here. Yeah,
I couldn't agree with you more there. I do feel like if you could just play to your strengths, that's awesome. I think in a small business, for example, where you tend to wear more hats, it's harder to. I think if you're in a bigger company, you focus on these two things, you're just going to focus on this. I think that allows you to. In a smaller business setting, you wear a lot of hats. Yeah. Today you're wearing a white hat. Yesterday you wore a gray hat. And
I don't know if I did. I think I wore a white hat yesterday. It might have been dirty.
I don't know what you were, but we are it's that's kind of the nature of a small business. You need to learn a lot of skills, and I think that might be a hard step for a lot of people starting a new business, right? Is typically those who start businesses. Those are the types that jump on opportunities and maybe are risk averse, they don't, and they just go after something and they take action. But that only goes so far, because where that's your greatest strength in starting your business and getting it from A to B, it's almost like you're the thing that's going to hold you back. And so I attribute a lot of our growth, to, in the last year, because we've had a lot of it, to our team, because honestly, we've been in business for 7 years, and we had some initial growth for a few years, and then we kind of just plateaued. And the second that we brought in team members like yourself, Dusty, who had complementary skill sets to mine, the business has changed dramatically for the better. And so I do think the more that you can play to your strengths, and then being okay with sharing the other responsibilities to others is a great way to go, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, me personally, I almost have this this governor in myself. Hunter didn't turn his phone off today, so anyway, I have this self-governing thing. If I take on too much, that's when I become overwhelmed. You know what I mean? If I'm not focusing on those 2 or 3 things that I'm actually good at, which I'll never admit that I'm good at them, but if I don't focus on just the 2 or 3 things, I'm gonna get overwhelmed. So it's almost without knowing it, I'm telling myself stop spreading yourself thin. You know what I mean? Because you're not gonna get anything accomplished.
What do you feel like? I know you said you feel foggy today. What do you feel like right now is most overwhelming for you? Just completely open, whatever. It's fine if it's on you.
Deadlines.
I knew it. Okay, I know exactly what we're talking about.
It's absolutely killing me because my schedule changes literally by the day. You know, appointments are made, people come in, on the fly, and I have to I have to serve them, right? Yeah. That is part of my job, and that's fine. But it's when I have these projects lingering over my head with deadlines, but there's my day could be scheduled one way, but it's going to end a completely different way. Right. So having these deadlines kills me with these projects, which I mean, deadlines are great, right? But at the same time, it really puts a lot of stress on me. I don't know if I've talked to you about this. So.
Well, I feel the same way. I hate deadlines because, and I deal pretty well with like anxiety. Like I feel like if I have a lot of it, I can hold it for quite a bit, and then probably I freak out a little bit. But deadlines do that to me. So like I wonder if there's like deadlines. I think they have a place and they're very important, right? So like we're talking right now specifically, we have I'm guessing that's what you're talking about, our nutrition program, right?
Yeah.
And so we have a pretty tight deadline, but we've got a lot of other things going on at the same time. And, you know, just like we want for our team, we set deadlines and we set expectations. And so we want to do that for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Because like we want to lead by example. I think that's important.
It's the most important.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, is there a happy medium? Is there a way to get stuff done with a deadline of some sort, while removing some of that anxieties, some of that pressure? Could it be like a flexible, flexible deadline? Like
Flexible deadline. I think honestly, if I'm being completely transparent here, I think most of our deadlines here at Hybrid Fitness become flexible deadlines.
I think so.
I don't know if we've ever actually met one. So that brings another question.
Yeah.
Are our expectations of ourselves too high? Which then, in turn, leads to higher anxiety, which makes us less efficient. So maybe we're discovering something here on the podcast. Maybe we expect too much.
Or like, man, it's so hard because like if you set a deadline, like ideally you want to keep it. And I feel like it's a slippery slope, right? Like let's say you had someone and you said, and they missed you give them a deadline, they miss it every time, right? And then you have somebody who hits it every time. They hit their deadline, right? Like how do we as leaders, like yes, we could say, well, you know, we could move it back because we've got other things going on, but like I feel like that's like hypocritical. But no, and I agree with you. Like, is it a high expectation? Because at the end of the day, when it's released, does it really matter if it's another week or 2 weeks? Like, no. But it's like about, this is what we said and we're gonna do it.
Yeah,
that's the pressure.
This is true. Let me put it into terms you might be able to like relate to a little better.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the new Halo game. Let's say that, you know, they're like, oh, coming, you know, this September, Halo 16 or whichever one they're on right
December
now.
8th, my birthday, it's coming out, everybody.
Okay, so yeah, what if they push that back?
Yeah.
You know, they set, and this happens a lot in the gaming industry. They set deadlines, release dates, and they always get pushed back. But do you become frustrated there, or do you like, hey, I understand, I want them to put out a high quality product, so I'm okay with them pushing that deadline back?
I think I'm understanding. I think Twitter's not.
Yeah, clearly.
But no. Yeah, I hear you. You know, I think, and I don't even think it's necessary for like our customers as much. Like, I think they would be understanding. I think it's like,
oh, I do too.
It's like like we do set those expectations in our head. Like, we want to lead by example.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, how do we do that? And how do we set an example for our team that like we do what we say?
Yeah.
Like that's like been the theme in my head just for the last year, because we have a bigger team, and I know that's so important. Right?
It's one of the most important things. But like, are we willing to sacrifice quality to necessarily teach a lesson? I hate to put it like that, but teach a lesson. You know what I mean? Like, like we're going to do what we say, so that's why we're meeting this deadline. But, you know, we could be meeting the deadline by sacrificing the quality of a product, which in turn is going to hurt the business long term.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard it's a slippery slope. It is a slippery slope. And I am not a skier, dude.
I've never skied or anything. I've always wanted to.
Really?
Let's do it this winter.
Dude, you don't even need You won't even need the ski poles. You just use your arms.
I'll just stick
That's how long arms. That's why his deadlift's bigger than me, because he's got long arms.
I'll just stick my fingers in the snow and propel myself forward.
Yeah, he puts his hands on the floor and his elbows touch too. That's how freaking long. They get all tangled up. They're so long.
I'm all arms.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting off topic here.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know if we were going to figure out a solution here. So maybe if you're listening, I'd like to hear if you have any suggestions. Like how could we deal with this this dilemma?
Yeah. How do you manage
effectively?
deadlines?
Yeah, like how do you manage it so it's not a slippery slope? Like you create a good product, you're efficient with your time, you get things out. However, like you also lead by example and do what you're going to say, right? Without the anxiety. I know that's loaded, but think on that. Maybe you've done something that's worked on in your company or your business. That would be really helpful for us. I
know what some people would recommend.
What?
Incentives.
Incentives. Oh, wow. Well, that does give you a little extra juicer magooser.
Whatever that means. I've never heard that term before.
Juicer magooser. So it's like if you're pulling the slots, right? And like you're losing the slots, and you might not hit the jackpot, but you might get like a little win. So you need a little extra juicer magooser to keep you going.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what juicer magooser.
I might stick that one in my back pocket and use it later.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe
a little juicer magooser. Yeah. So if you incentives could work. Like it gives you extra motivation. It's like, man, like at least this stress is worth it. But does it take away the stress? It might. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm spitballing. I'm not saying like I don't want to come off saying like, hey, I want incentives for this this deadline project. Like, not what I'm talking about.
Oh no, I don't think. I was just trying to find solutions. You're just like passively aggressively saying incentives.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying like a lot of people would say incentives would help, but sometimes you're not in the position to make that happen. But It would be very cool to hear, from our audience. Maybe they've experienced something like that. So yeah.
This is an example of we don't have all the answers.
Exactly.
But, we can go through this together and maybe you get thinking. Now, we started on our topic a little different, and it was about saying no and saying yes. So I want you to just consider that when you're presented, different ideas or different opportunities, like, hey, is the best opportunity right now? Is it in front of me, or is this truly one? Is this the one? Really think about it, because when you say yes, you're saying no to something else, and when you say yes to something, you're saying no to yes. Anyways,
I came up with an example.
Okay. Oh, you did.
Yes,
oh, let's hear it.
I did. It's a recent one.
Okay.
So somehow you when you convinced me to quit my job,
easy,
and sell my house and
easier,
and join you here full time. I remember there was a discussion I had with you before I'd put my notice in, and it was setting boundaries. Because at that time, you had given me a place to live. I was living with you and Melissa. So we saw a lot of each other, but it was very important to me to set those boundaries of work and friendship. So, I made it clear, right out of the gate, like no to work, at home, and like letting work basically consume our lives, because we did see each other all the time at work, at home, and stuff like that. So in order to kind of like keep our friendship and be able to grow our friendship even further, I thought it was important to say no to overdoing it with work. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think it has helped. Who knows? I mean, our friendship hasn't declined, I don't think.
I mean, you're mean to me. But other than that, no.
Well, I mean, you've got small quads. You made fun of my long arms, dude. I had to bring the quads up.
You make fun of your long arms, dude. I was just doing what you're doing.
I love you, buddy.
I never said I had small quads.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're right, though. I mean, creating that boundary, right? You're maybe saying no to never-ending working relationship, which like for me, I'm fine with because I just have fun like talking like work and business with you. But yeah, like you're saying yes to other things. What are you saying yes to? I mean, that's carried over now. You're saying yes to, hey, like I'm going to be present with Tina. Hey, like when we hang out, like we cannot talk about business. Like that's something that we're saying yes to.
But it also gives us the opportunity to discuss it as well, because there have been times when we're hanging out, like we're just literally doing nothing, hanging out, or we're playing a game, we're going out to dinner, or whatever it is, like, and we bring work up, and as long as it's kind of like a mutually agreed upon, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But if since setting that boundary, it's like, hey, dude, not now. Like, and you're okay with that.
Yeah. Nah, I can normally tell too by your face.
Yeah.
It's a do the face. Yeah. And then he's got the hood up and the lights.
Yeah.
Lights
are out, hood's up.
It's like the Sith.
I've got what, RDF? Is that the male version of RBF?
What does the D stand for?
Resting dick face.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I have that? Be honest.
Sometimes. Oh yeah.
Damn.
Dude, especially. Oh, and you've seen this too. You've seen this with Tina now.
Oh boy.
You've gotten your own medicine. Is the AirPods. You just want to say F you to the world. You put in the AirPods.
Yeah.
And then like if somebody tries to talk to you,
Yeah.
like it's really easy to make them feel like you're annoying them. So, hey Dusty. Hey Dusty.
Yeah.
And I know if you're listening to this, you didn't see the face, but it's like the exaggerated pull the AirPods out and then like aggressive head turn towards you.
Damn, you literally just like made me realize that that's what I do to her when she's working out. Like I just want to talk to her, but she's got her AirPods in, and I can see that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that irritates me more than when somebody tries to talk to me when I have AirPods in. It's like, can't you see? I have things in my ears.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
I'm sorry if I've ever done that to you.
Multiple times, but I love you because I know you're in the zone and I respect that, and I want to let you be in your zone. And sometimes, but the thing is, sometimes you can't see the dang things in your ears.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm like, oh, do you have? Oh, my bad. Like,
all right,
I'm out. I've even said something to you and you don't hear me, and then I realize you have AirPods, and I just walk away and I don't say the thing. I'm like, I'll just talk to you later.
Oh man.
Yeah, but no, it's not a bad thing. I mean, like sometimes you need to do that and cancel out the world, and then just focus. So. Anyways, we're about to run out of memory card here, I think.
Yeah, we're hitting the 30-minute mark here shortly. So
yeah. So, any last words, really quick?
Hey, we are live now. I know we're a couple weeks ahead, but if you guys like the podcast, please, if you're listening on Spotify, I think we'll be on Apple soon, YouTube. Drop us a comment, like the video, leave us a review. Share us. Just make sure you're listening. Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple soon. What else?
Breaker.
Yeah, Breaker.
Yeah, we would really love like your honest feedback on it. Like, if you're listening to multiple episodes, like hopefully you enjoy it. But if there's specific topics or things that we do that annoy the heck out of you, and you think there's things we could do to improve, then like we want all the feedback because we want to make this awesome for you so that you can make your next step.
Oh, and with
a
that,
fulfilling one.
And with that, we shall end this episode.
Talk soon, my friends.
Thanks for listening.